In this video, we'll look at what makes a successful look, key characteristics that make John Wick 4 grade so good, how can we create a similar look in Resolve. There are three key players to every successful look: director, cinematographer, and colorist. And they need to work in harmony to cook up epic like this. Shout out to Ian Blair by Post Perspective, who interviewed Chad, the director of John Wick 4. If you guys have time, you guys should definitely read the article. Here are some key takeaways. In this article, Chad said that him and Dan, the DP, love high contrasty looks. But in the past, even with Alexa Mini, it wasn't possible to push the colors to how far they wanted to go. But that all changed with Alexa LF. In order to know for sure how much they can push, they brought Jill, the colorist, on board since day one. And I wanted to bring attention to this part of the article for two reasons. I don't think most filmmakers know how early to involve their colorist to bring the director's vision to life. And number two, the big thing that I get is, can we do this with an iPhone footage shot in my mom's kitchen under room lighting? The answer to that is a big fat no. And if we learn anything from this interview, is that the look is created even before principal photography and then further enhanced in DI. Let's look at 5 key characteristics that make John Wick 4 grade so good. Unapologetically digital. It's owning what the new technology has to offer. Trend setting, then chasing the past. The look doesn't have to be imperfect with grain and halation to be cinematic. Clean, free of grain or artifacts. It celebrates the technological advancements of cleaner images and sharper lenses. Selectively saturated with clean blacks. It takes skills to pump so much saturation without contaminating your shadows. Tastefully pushed. The look aligns with the director's and DP's vision to bring the story to life. All right, so you guys ready to create this look? Before you do, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, hit the bell icon so you can be notified about my future content. Let's jump in. All right, so I'm parked on my hero frame. The footage is shot on Canon C200 by the most talented and my homie, Filippo. You guys should definitely give him a follow on Instagram and also subscribe to his YouTube channel. And I've already pre-built my node tree. Let me take you through it. And then obviously I left the parts out that are the key elements to getting the John Wick look. So we're taking our C-Log 2 footage and converting it to DaVinci Wide Gamut, and then that's going to be the scene referred space we're going to work in. And then on the ODT output device transform, we're taking our DaVinci Wide Gamut and converting it to Rec 709. So this is properly converted from log to Rec 709. It looks good, right? But we got a long way to go. We're going to have to make this look like this shot right here from the Osaka hotel where they're fighting. So, and genuinely like one of the most beautiful sequences in the entire film in terms of the look and overall acting and fighting and everything. So anyways, this is where we're at. Then what I did is I went ahead and added a custom 2383 contrast only flavor of the LUT. So if you want to download this, you know, a super special, it is included in my free webinar. You're going to get the instructions, and the webinar also includes skin tones, shot matching, gamma shift issues. Link is in the description. You should definitely check it out. Moving forward, I added a window to kind of just bring this side down and even it out from the left side, right? So it does do that very nicely. And all I'm doing is I'm just using my gain and dropping it down a little bit, just a touch. Then I'm using noise reduction to keep our image super clean, just like what we see in John Wick through and through. Like they're owning the digitalness of the actual sensor and then keeping the entire image super clean. So in my motion effects, all I'm doing is setting this to frame 1, leaving it to faster, and then my temporal threshold is set to 4.6, and then my spatial threshold, I broke the chain and then set the chroma to 7. And that's what we get. It's a pretty clean image. And even if you look at my scopes, you can see like how thick the scopes are here before applying the noise reduction. And then after applying the noise reduction, how it thins out. So it just takes out all the noise in the shadows and leaves the image looking super pristine and clean. And these parameters do the right magic where your image doesn't look plasticky at all. So this is where we're at right now, guys. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to jump into my tone curve. Let's activate these two. I'm going to go into my tone curve and I'm just going to open up my custom curves right here. I'm going to make this bigger. pull this right here. And all I want to do now is I want to pull this up right here, around somewhere around here. And then I want to create another point and like really go hard, okay? Because like one of the things with John Wick is that, look at that, like the contrast is really, really crazy, okay? I'm going to create another point and I'm going to kind of keep it somewhere around here. And then take this and maybe pull it back a little bit. And then this is already looking pretty dramatic. And then the magic is going to happen here. So I'm going to grab this point and kind of go aggressive with it. And maybe somewhere around here. And then I'm going to grab another point and kind of do this. Okay. So let's just keep it somewhere around here. And if I do before and after, you're seeing what's happening, right? Like, and same thing is happening here. You see these lights, like how they pop. And we have a pretty similar thing going on now. And even if you look at the skin tones, right? Like it's getting a similar pop. So I'm going to leave that there. Like, look at how much depth just got added to our image. So one of the things that we can see, look at how lifted this shot is, yet it has so much contrast. Whereas our shot, after applying all the jiggery pokery we did to our contrast, it dropped it down quite a bit. So the trick to lift it up the right way without losing the juice that we added is using your low soft. And I'm just going to pull it up to somewhere where we see John Wick's contrast and pull it up maybe a little bit more, just something like this. And now we're exactly in the same place, okay, in terms of the contrast. And once again, if I just do this and keep it somewhere around here and do before and after, just look at how cinematic everything looks and how all the colors and everything wraps around our dude and they belong, right? So guys, don't ever take this part, the tone curve part, like easy. That is where the magic happens, and start playing with it because it takes a while to get a grasp of like how much push and pull you can do here and what can happen to your image. And now if I go to my Rec 709, just look at this, how far we've come. This is log, this is Rec 709, and then this is where we're at. I mean, just look at it, how cinematic it looks already, okay? So that is going to be our step number one to create that look. And then I'm gonna go under my look node. And what I want to do here, I want to show you a tool that you may or may not be familiar with, which is RGB Mixer. And the purpose of this tool, it sounds super confusing. And even if you use it, like it's kind of confusing, but the whole idea is that it lets you remix color channels into each other. And again, this explanation probably doesn't make any sense, but what's happening is this, okay? So we're trying to create the cherry color in the reds, like this color right here over here and over onto his skin, just like what's happening here. Okay, so that's the color that I'm going for. I want to make my life difficult, not easy. Okay, so I'm not going for this right here, which is pretty easy. I'm going for a crazy cherry red everywhere here. And then obviously we're going to take this cyan and put it here, which we are already pretty close. So by using our RGB mixer, it does a very organic job. Instead of just like swinging hues, that's going to crack our skin tones because there's so much saturation in our image and we want to retain that. In order to do that, RGB Mixer is an excellent tool because John Wick is unapologetically saturated, right? So to get that and still keep this sort of like nice separation between colors without cracking the image, we're going to use RGB Mixer. And this is what we're going to do. So first thing that I want to do is I want to bring this red into my image. So I'm going to go on my green channel right here because there's like some green here, right? So I want to take that and I want to swing it from green to magenta. So I'm going to go and take the reds in my green and I'm going to swing it down and look what happens. Just look at it. Boom. All of a sudden we got that red going on. Okay. Like we got this color in here. So subtle, but like such a big difference, right? And now what I can do is I can go and control the saturation of that. So I can go under my red output right here, take my red, and now I can crank it to get more of it, right? So something like that. And again, before and after, just look at the amount of difference we've made just with this one quick little switch, okay? Even just like right here, the difference that we're making. And then what I can do is I can go under my blue channel, take the red and pull the orange out of it by increasing red right here. So I'm basically cooling off my red channel even more. Okay? And just look at what's happening. Look at right here to like right here. So now what can we do? Because now our cyan kind of shifted. Well, that's very easy because I can go under my blue channel right here and I can subtract some of the blue out of it to put in green in there. And just like look at what's happening. Like, just look at how magic this tool is. And now I can counter it again. I can go back into my green output. I can take my red and I can pull it down to just add more magenta, right? So it's just a little bit of that dance. And then one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to go under my blue channel. I'm going to take the green and I'm going to basically add a little bit more yellow by subtracting green here. So just look at what I'm doing. So let's go too far and then kind of pull it back. So just look at how nice this is looking. And then even if I just do this, like how perfect this tool works. I mean, just look at it. So even if we go to this mode and if I do on and off, like how big of a difference we've made, right? And I don't want to kill the saturation because even if you look at, let's just make this full screen. And if you look at this image and if you look at the vector scope and where everything is sitting, like look at this, right? So we're basically in between the two. And the reason being is that there is a lot of yellow happening here and then there is red happening, right? So like there is red, pure red, and then there is yellow. And then it's perfect for us to put our image right in between to get like the gist of like we're part of the scene. Now, one of the things that I'm noticing is like maybe it just got a little too crunchy, right? Like if I just do this and look at the two images. So one way to fix that would be going right here and just control the overall, in other words, like opacity of the tone curve that we created. So what if I kind of take it back to even something like this, right? Something like this. Bring it up a little bit like that. And then I can just go back into my low soft and pull that down again, a little bit like this. And how does this look? Like, I feel like this might just have like a little bit more cinematic quality and still has like pretty punchy contrast, but it's not so much in your face. So I personally think like that does the trick and it looks a little bit better. Just a little bit softer overall on the entire image. So that's where I would park it, guys. So like, look at where we started to where we ended up. So if I were to kill all of this, so this is what we got. And we went ahead and did the tone mapping, right? Just to kind of bring everything in place. And then like, look at how much of the heavy lifting this LUT is doing. And this is a DaVinci Wide Gamut flavor of the 2383 contrast only. So this can be used for SDR and HDR. But just like, look at how much of the essence of the 2383 that's like putting everything into place, like where it's supposed to be. And again, this LUT can be downloaded. Instructions are in my webinar, which you can sign up. Link is in the description. And then we went ahead and used our RGB mixer to bring all the colors in. And this, just like I said, would not have been possible doing any other technique than this, especially because we wanted to keep the saturation and make sure our image doesn't break. And that's exactly what happened by using RGB mixer, because you're borrowing like some colors from one channel and then adding it to another. And it's a very organic process that is near impossible to achieve with HSL curves or with your secondaries, especially with mixed lighting like this. And then we cleaned up our image using basic noise reduction techniques. And then finally, this I think does quite a bit, like just a subtle window that brings that down to kind of evens it out from that side. And more importantly, our eyes go right in the middle to our character. If we just do like a wipe and park it somewhere around here and just take the nodes that create the look before and after, just check it out how crazy this is. And now let's place this shot within the trailer and see if it fits. And guys, if you enjoyed the video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you can be notified about my future content. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.